first book that you wrote?
Yes, it's the first book I've ever written.
Why did you feel you had to write the book?
Almost 9 years ago, I started having stomach issues. And it was only a few years ago that I went to see a specialist. And after some tests, I was told that I just couldn't have dairy anymore or gluten. And I just didn't know what I could eat. So I started researching on the web, and some of the recipes that I saw and tried, they just weren't good. And it took a few years before I realized that why don't I take the existing recipes that I had and change them over.
Your
so
traditional family
exactly,
recipes, yep.
and make them so that I can eat them. And then it dawned on me last year that why don't I just take one recipe and separate the mixture so that everybody in the house, if you have gluten sensitivity, other people, not usually the whole family is, then everybody can eat the blueberry muffins in the morning. So the book, I made it for people who don't have food allergies, people who do have food allergies, and then just a mixed family.
Also for family gatherings around the holidays or picnics where you don't feel awkward because, oh, I have to have a special menu.
Exactly.
You can do it as a potluck and bring something.
Exactly.
You fit right in, and you don't make it a big warning sign. Oh,
you
I have
don't
it.
feel different.
Right. That's what I really enjoyed about the book, how you conveyed that right in the opening part of it. Now, do you have any other family members that have had the gluten problem that are hereditary? Anything? You were the very first.
And that's why it was so difficult to try to understand what I could and couldn't eat. And it was a long journey. And what I really want to do with this book is help somebody else not have to struggle as long as I did in my journey. I get very excited when I meet someone who's new on the path, because I know that their life is going to be so much better. And the food really is good, and I've had so many people with gluten, people without gluten, they can't tell the difference. I make everybody try the food.
And there's a lot of information on blogs and on websites. You reference 2 or 3 of them in your book that you really got a lot of information out. You have a fantastic website.
Thank you.
You just updated your whole background on that. It's very colorful. And what I like about that website, it's very user-friendly.
Thank you.
It walks you right through and it explains nice and quick who you are, what you're trying to do, and your mission. Now, how long was this book in the making?
What happened is 2 years ago, I decided to create a blog. And I started putting my recipes on there to help other people. And I did notice that people from all over the world were on there. But I felt like I wasn't reaching enough people. Last August, it just dawned on me. I said, why don't I just shut that down and make a book? I mean, I didn't have enough recipes, so I had to create a lot more, but that's how it happened. And at the same time, the part of making it so much easier for multi-diverse food families to create one recipe, because everybody's really busy nowadays, and this just makes everyone's life easier.
Well, I see the reference in there on the cover, and you did that yourself, and I've got to give you a 5-star on that.
Oh, thank you.
Because it looks very appetizing, and it takes the gluten stigma, or whatever you want to call it, away from it by including pastries and regular food that we have every day right there on the cover. It's very, very nice. You did a good job on that.
Thank you. Every picture that I took is all the gluten-free picture.
Okay, now you went with Outskirts Press on that.
Yes.
And I do believe that's the first company, publishing company, I've done in this show in 2 years with Outskirts. How did you come up with Outskirts Press as your publisher?
Again, not knowing anything about publishing a book, I started researching, and I gathered a few companies and I interviewed them and tried to understand what it is they could offer me, what was the best fit. And that's how Outskirts ended up being my publishing company.
Now, is Outskirts Press known for cooking books?
No, they do a lot of different kinds. Yeah, they're like most publishing companies. They do everything. It's just that I felt they were the best fit. That's the only way I can describe it.
Because we have authors that match up a lot of times a publisher to the genre that they're writing at the time. And some of the authors write in many different subject matters, and they'll change publishers depending on the work they're working on.
The
But-
thing I did notice with all the publishing companies that I dealt with is they were very interested in it because they said that it's the #1 search on the internet is gluten-free cooking.
Wow, that is big. Maybe you could get into the schools on this too.
Yeah, that's a possibility,
Yeah.
like a home ec, go in and
Yep.
teach.
Yep. I think that would be a home run for you. I really do. And also, you're right here from Rhode Island,
Yes, in East Providence.
right in East Providence. So, well, I know right now all the bookstores in Rhode Island will definitely put this book in.
Thank you. I actually got into the library as well, and I will be doing a food presentation in the next couple of months so people can try the gluten-free.
I've got a question for you on this.
Yes.
Especially like gluten-free or diabetics. You come back from the doctors and then you say to your spouse, I'm going to have to start cooking 2 different meals. I don't have that. And then the person gives up and says, I'm not going to do that. It isn't fair to the other person. The way you've done it in the book here, you're basically keeping the same foods that everybody was eating all along. Just be quiet about it and make it healthier for them, and they won't even realize what's happening.
Exactly. It's as simple as when you make a recipe that has chicken broth, for example,
Yep.
a lot of the chicken broths have wheat in them, and you
Yep.
don't even know that. So you just use the one that doesn't have wheat, and there you go. You have a gluten-free recipe.
I got a question on this. Your gluten-free menu, does it increase your food budget?
No, because I had a few people respond back, and that's the one thing they liked, and that's the one thing I wanted to do, is to keep it basic. What you have in your kitchen now is what you can make these recipes with.
How about snacks? Saying you're taking a mystery ride 4 hours on the road, Dunkin' Donuts we had talked about in the library and stuff like that. You have to switch off. Do you package something, bring it with you?
Absolutely. It's very important when you cannot have the same foods as everyone else to have 2 snacks with you in your pocketbook or in whatever you're carrying with you, so that when you get hungry, it doesn't remind you again that you're different. I don't know. That seems to be my basic problem is you don't want to feel different. You want to be able to be like everybody else, and so you just have to plan ahead a little.
A lot of things on this too with the family type of setup on your food budget. It's very good too if you have a home style garden at your house or raise chickens with your own eggs that way you know what you're eating. And the other question I have on it, I had done the Dr. Davis book, The Wheat Belly Diet, and I fell off it because I love bread. And that's the #1 killer for me. I like my English muffins and stuff like that. But you're saying they have gluten-free bread products in all the markets?
Absolutely.
Right on the side of the regular ones?
Yes, and throughout the years, I honestly feel at this point I have found the best bread. Aldi's actually is a great store for gluten-free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're second to Whole Foods, and they do provide a lot of foods and other products that are gluten-free. You find out which ones are good, which ones, after a while, which ones you don't want to eat. And I have a lot of that information on the blog. I couldn't put it in the book, like product names, but if you go on the blog, I have pictures of the ones that I feel are really good.
Another question I have on this, like with me with the Davis book and stuff like that, how do you feel physically if you cheat or make a mistake, your resistance wears down, oh, that cake, I just can't pass it. How does that, do you actually start with stomach pains or get a headache?
Yes, I've actually found out there's 2 kinds of people with celiacs. One, they don't feel it, but inside their bodies there's some changes.
Yep.
I am the person who can feel a crumb.
No,
Yeah,
you're that sensitive.
Yes, it's become that sensitive, so it's not an option. Unfortunately, it's not always something that's been done intentionally. It could be cross-contamination at a restaurant, or even at my house we have a toaster that has the 4 slices, so they have one side, I have another. You try to minimize how you get cross-contaminated.
But you can detect it that quick.
Oh, I don't even know it. My stomach tells me it.
Okay, now getting back to the restaurant part, many restaurants I've been into, they'll have gluten-free products available. Can you really trust them? Like on a macaroni, it's not something you can look at the macaroni and say, I know that's gluten-free, because they look the same.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty much a trial and error. If you go and you order the gluten-free and you make it 3 days and you feel fine, then you know that's a place you can trust.
I've always wondered on another thing like that. Say if you had a problem with MSG and stuff like that, and you order your Chinese food at the many Chinese restaurants in this area, and say, oh, no MSG. How can you really tell?
I know it's a trust thing, and you really can't.
You know, I've always thought that on that. Okay, now we talked in the library a little, in the lobby here, a little book, and I was hoping you would answer this question. Now you already got it really, but I got to ask you. You've got to be coming up with book number 2.
I am. I think I have 2 recipes left, which I'll work on in the next week or 2, and I plan to release it in August this year.
Okay, are you going to stay with the same publisher?
Yes, I think I am.
You're comfortable with them?
Yes.
Okay, at that point there, it will help you a lot on your book signings, having a book number 2. The first ones that bought it will automatically be looking for the second one with the quality of this book. And I can see this really branching out for you, again, with the schools, the libraries, and you making me aware of how big of a Google search gluten is right now in this country. I wasn't aware of that. But you can basically say, the Baba Family Cookbook from Genealogy. I can take my family cookbook and alter it to make it gluten-free, so I can maintain my same recipes
Yes.
and just modify them just a little bit and not alter the taste that much.
Exactly, and that's my goal in the first book, and the second book I made it even bigger.
Okay. On the gluten thing, you went to the doctor and said, I got problems with my stomach. Do they have a series of tests just for gluten to find out whether you have a problem on that?
Yes.
Or do you have to go to a specialist?
You have to go to a gastroenterologist.
Okay.
And in my situation, I had known there was a problem with my stomach for at least 5 years. Usually what they'll do to a new patient is have them eat gluten for 2 weeks and then have a test done. But because I had been off of gluten for so long, they did a genetic blood testing.
Yep.
And so mine came out as a very high propensity as either having it or will have it in the near future. So it was not an option.
And you knew right then and
I
there.
knew.
Now, how long did it take you to basically cleanse your body to become gluten-free? 6 months?
Well, it depends. This whole process started almost 9 years ago, and what we think has gluten in it, there's so many other products that you don't even know has gluten in it. So it took me a long time to even identify what has gluten in it, and I would say maybe only 2 years ago when I found out, that's when I really dissected what am I eating and how am I going to stop.
You're talking spices, you're talking alcohol.
Gravy,
A lot of things.
like I said, even chicken broth. Who would think there's, wheat in that?
Yep.
So, yeah.
And you feel a lot better, you sleep a lot better now.
Oh, it's,
All
yeah.
your vitals come right down.
Absolutely.
It's a natural process.
It's a natural cleansing, and you know, a few of my friends gave me feedback. You know, they've lost like 50 pounds. Someone's blood sugar went from 12% to 6%. So even if I thought, you know, my food is just great tasting, it's healthy too.
Now, after a few years of doing it in your house now, your other family members, you do a majority of the cooking, they have no idea whether it's gluten-free or not.
They
It just
really
tastes
don't.
good. It
They
tastes
really
good.
don't. Even at holidays, I'll serve baked stuffed shrimps.
Yep.
They don't know that the stuffing, well, they do now, but they didn't know that the stuffing was gluten-free.
Right. Okay, the name of the book is Gluten and Gluten-Free Cooking in the Perfect Harmony, a one-recipe solution to accommodate everyone. The author, and I can't wait for book number 2, Lucy Cody Contante. And what nationality is that?
Well, the Cody is French and the Contente is Portuguese.
Portuguese. Ooh, that's a cool name. It's a great book. What does the book sell for?
The book,
Retail?
actually, it sells for on Amazon for $19.
That's all? This is a $24 or $26 book.
Thank
It
you.
really is. There's a
And
lot
there's
of.
a website with the same name .com if anyone wants to go on there, because the link is there that they can buy it directly off of my website.
Okay, and we're going to get you into bookstores in Rhode Island and the surrounding area with the association. We're going to see if the association meetings, we'll hook up together on that. We'll probably have between 38 and 40 events for the course of the year. And I got to give you a tip on that. When you get your email update on the book signings, respond to it quick, because there's only so many spots and they really fill up quick.
Yes, I'm going to be at the Warwick one.
Okay.
And
You got to hook up as soon as we, the first week of December, when we have our expo at the Rhodes on the Patuxent. Get in there. That's about 130 authors.
yes,
10, 11,000 people come in there looking for Rhode Island books.
that was a wonderful expo last year.
Oh, you attended
I
it?
did. That's why I joined, and that was my first expo.
Wow. So that really worked out well for the advertising on that too.
Yes.
Lucy, I want to thank you very much. And your husband, bodyguard right here.
Thank you.
And boy, did he do a good job. He is the silent partner today, and I can't wait for book number 2. Thank you very much for coming
Thank
in
you,
and
Wayne.
being our guest on the Author's Hour. The next part of our show